right, good morning, everyone. Happy Easter. Looks like the first individual we have this morning is Ms. Harley Hoyt, which was continued from yesterday.
Yes, Judge. I spoke with Ms. Hoyt. I would ask to waive her appearance and proceed with the bail hearing. I also spoke with the district attorney today, and I believe we have a stipulated amount in bail that we would like to propose.
Okay, and what is that?
It would be $2,500 bondable with a 10% cash option.
Mr. Hydrick?
That's correct, Your Honor. Your Honor, I would ask also for supervision with testing if she does post that amount as the sole condition.
Okay. Pretrial services, supervision, and testing, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Have you been able to verify her address, Mr. Merritt?
No, not at this time.
All right. Well, I have an additional condition, which is that she reside at the address indicated in the court services notes, 1213 Woodseed, I believe it is, Drive 163. And then she did have felony plus violent crime, so I had shall not possess firearms or weapons. All right, so unless there's an objection, those will be the two additional conditions. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so the next individual is, looks like Anthony Bona Alandi. I got that right?
Yes.
Good. All right, is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the state is seeking bail in the amount of $10,000 bondable, pretrial supervision, testing for drugs and alcohol, no driving without all prior documentation or necessary documentation, and as he is a convicted felon, no firearms. Mr. Alandi scores an 8 on the risk assessment, does have fairly significant criminal history, Your Honor. Most notably, recently, he had a drug paraphernalia conviction out of this court last year. And in 2023, he had felony convictions for burglary of a structure and obtained title for goods with intent to defraud, as well as grand larceny of a motor vehicle out of the 10th Judicial District Court. In 2017, he was convicted of battery with a deadly weapon resulting in substantial bodily harm. That was reduced from an attempted murder. Looks like he also had a misdemeanor conviction receiving stolen property that year. The PSI from that case notes 8 felony convictions between 4 separate states, Nevada, Colorado, California, and Utah. Looking at those felony convictions, there was a 2012 attempted escape, a 2006 felony possession of a controlled substance, felony evading, a 2005 felony possession of a controlled substance, a 2002 felony conviction for operating clandestine lab, and then it looks like he had a gross misdemeanor conviction for conspiracy to possess credit card without consent in 2002. He also has misdemeanor history, Your Honor, but those are the felony highlights. So given that history, we do believe Mr. Alandi presents an ongoing risk of further criminal activity and risk to the community. So we do believe bail is appropriate in this case.
All right, Mr. Merritt.
Yes, we would ask for an OR release with appropriate release conditions. I think a no driving clause without appropriate documentation is appropriate given the facts and circumstances of this case, along with random drug and alcohol testing, just given the underlying charges of DUI and possession of a controlled substance. While Mr. Alandi does have significant criminal history, the current charges that he is being alleged to have committed are a significant departure from what his criminal history reflects. I think that's a positive note for Mr. Alandi. It seems to be just him struggling with his addiction. Turning to the MPRA, with a score of an 8, that put him as a high moderate, but in that 8, there's no points for prior failures to appear and no points for prior multiple substance use arrests, which bodes well in terms of whether or not he is a flight risk. In speaking with Mr. Alandi, he also purported to us that he is currently working, he does have an address locally, and he does have a personal phone. We weren't able to verify this specific information because Mr. Alandi wasn't able to get phone numbers for people before he was arrested. But all the same, had we been able to verify said information, that would have brought him down to a low risk. I think, again, this type of charge commonly comes through the lower courts probably every day. And people in that type of situation, like Mr. Alandi finds himself in, are perfectly safe in the community when supervised appropriately. I do think you can achieve that through the no driving clause plus the random drug and alcohol testing. And I think if afforded that opportunity, Mr. Alandi would likely make the most of it. So we will submit with our OR request.
All right. Keep in mind that his risk assessment of an 8 was overridden too high because of his criminal history as outlined by Mr. Heydrich. So he would not be an appropriate candidate given the facts of the PC sheet plus his criminal history. So I'm going to set his bail at 10,000 or 10% cash. He will be subject to testing. I shall not possess firearms or weapons. No driving without all required documentation. I'm requiring him to reside at the address as noted in the file 101 Relief Springs Road, and he'll be subject to pretrial supervision. All right.
All right. Able to go back.
Next individual is Vivian Ayabob, I believe. I'm sure I mispronounced that name. And so, Mr. Heydrich, in reviewing this file, I have flagged, I'm just going to call her Vivian, for an OR release.
We believe that is entirely appropriate in this case, Your Honor. Ms. Kabayeb has no other criminal history, scores quite low on the risk assessment at a 3, likely to be reduced further. This was a non-violent offense. She made admissions to the incident. It does not look like the other individual even wished for charges to be pressed. So we believe that a release without conditions except for court supervision to be appropriate in Ms. Kabayeb's case.
The only reason I didn't release her before today or this morning is I couldn't tell if we needed a no contact order with Mr. Cope at his address.
And Your Honor, my apologies for interrupting. We did attempting to reach Mr. Cope. We've been unsuccessful in our multiple attempts. Given Mr. Cope's status as described in the probable cause sheet, the state does have concerns for his health and welfare, but we don't believe that any of the facts as provided in the probable cause sheet necessitated a no contact order, given his statements to law enforcement.
Right, I would agree with that, in particular given their relationship as well. And then as far as pretrial supervision, I have her just for monitoring.
Yeah, that's what I was asking for, Your Honor, just RJC court monitoring, so not even pretrial.
Right. All right, and then I understand we have Vivian's daughter, but you're just observing, right, miss? All right, fair enough. All right, Vivian, so you're going to be released. We did indicate you're going to retain private counsel. I did appoint a public defender for you in this case. Do you still intend to retain private counsel?
Whatever necessary, Doc. I'm sure. So sorry.
So I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
She is indicating that she intends to retain private counsel once released.
Okay. Well, I'm still going to appoint a public defender for you. Once you obtain private counsel, then he can file or she can file a notice of appearance. All right. And then the public defender's office can then resign or substitute your new counsel in. All right. But given the facts of this case and your risk assessment, you're going to be released, miss. All right,
An arraignment date will be for April 23rd at 9 a.m.
It's your next court date.
Mm.
That's where it's gonna be.
all right.
3 attorneys.
Next is
Okay, thank you.
Carry On Johnson.
Thank you.
Yes, so I've spoken with Mr. Johnson today. I would ask to waive his appearance and proceed with the bail hearing. I also spoke with the district attorney today. I believe we have a bail arrangement that we will stipulate to.
All right, what is that amount?
The amount would be 2,500 bondable with 10% cash option. Along with that, an alternative of direct transport through IAP to inpatient upon bed availability as an OR release.
And this would be another one where I would request supervision with testing, Your Honor.
Right. Okay, let me adjust my GRO. All right, so I've got OR in the event he's able to get direct transport with IAP to an inpatient facility, correct?
That's correct.
All right, pretrial services supervision and subject to testing. All right. Next individual is going to be Mark Heath.
I spoke with Mr. Keith today. I would ask to waive his appearance and proceed with the bail hearing. I also spoke with the district attorney as well, and we have come to an arrangement on a stipulated bail amount.
All right, what is that amount?
That bail amount would be 10,000 bondable with a 10% cash option.
All right. And then any conditions, because the condition I had was testing and pretrial services supervision. And the event he's able to post, then he would be residing at 3296 Heights Drive. Were you able to verify his address, Mr. Merritt?
We weren't able to verify that address, but that is the exact address he provided me. So I believe those suggested conditions should be sufficient.
That's all true, Your Honor. And he has no prior documented felony criminal history, so no firearms clause in this case.
Right, correct. I don't have that as a condition. All right, so he's bail's gonna be set at 10,000 with those conditions. All right. Next individual is Leland Dean Wagner.
Our office has prior contact with Mr. Wagner, and we do have ongoing SB 89 concerns given his involvement with competency court presently. We would ask that whatever bail amount to be ordered, that it be interim bail.
All right. I think that's a good suggestion.
$5,000, please, Your Honor. Supervision as the sole condition. I didn't see any nexus for drug testing except prior arrest history.
Okay. How about should not possess firearms or weapons?
I think that's appropriate given the facts.
Right, so let me adjust my GRO. So $5,000 would be his bail. Bail will be interim, shall not possess firearms or weapons in pretrial supervision. All right,
Thank you, Your Honor.
okay, that looks like Mr. Wagner was the last individual. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
All right. Well, happy Easter, everyone.
To you as well.